You know, every time you go online, you're leaving this trail of digital breadcrumbs. But what if that trail has become so unique, it's basically your fingerprint? Well, today, we're diving deep into the world of Antidetect browsers, this amazing technology that lets you change that fingerprint whenever you want.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been locked out of your bank or, I don't know, your social media for suspicious activity just because you were traveling or using a new device? It's so frustrating, right? Well, that's your digital fingerprint at work, and it's become the internet's new invisible gatekeeper.
For years, the advice was always the same. Just clear your cookies. But you know what? The game has totally changed. Websites are now using a way more sophisticated method to track you, and it's called browser fingerprinting. It's like a digital signature that you can't just delete.
And just how accurate is this fingerprint? A staggering 99.9%. I mean, think about that for a second. Even without a single cookie, a website can pick your specific device out of a crowd of hundreds of thousands. The real question is, how on earth are they doing it?
Well, here's the trick. None of these little data points seem all that bad on their own. I mean, your screen resolution, your language settings, who cares? But when a website collects dozens of these seemingly innocent details, they all combine to form a profile that is uniquely yours. Even your graphics card and your battery level become part of this permanent digital identity.
So, in a world where you can be identified so easily, how do you get back any control? Well, what you need is a disguise. And that brings us to the hero of today's story, the Antidetect browser. To put it simply, it's a browser built from the ground up to fight fingerprinting. Instead of just broadcasting all your real unique information, it lets you manage and present different sets of information. You can essentially create multiple online personas all from one single computer. This right here is the best way to think about it. Imagine you had 10 different laptops, right? And each one was set up for a specific purpose. One for work, one for shopping, another for personal stuff. An Antidetect browser gives you all of that power, but from one single machine. It's pretty incredible.
All right, so how does this whole digital disguise thing actually work? I know it sounds like magic, but it's really just some very clever engineering. So let's pop the hood and take a quick look.
It really boils down to a three-step process. First, it messes with the browser's core to intercept all those data requests before they can even go out. Second, it creates completely separate, sandboxed environments for each profile, so your work cookies never ever mix with your personal ones. And third, and this is the real secret sauce, it swaps out your real data with believable fake data.
And here's what that substitution actually looks like in practice. Your real machine might be, say, a high-end Windows 11 PC. But to a website, Profile 1 looks like a pretty standard Windows 10 desktop, while Profile 2 looks like a totally different person using a MacBook. As far as that website is concerned, these are three separate, completely unrelated users. I mean, this is powerful stuff, but who's actually using it? You might be thinking it's just for hackers and hardcore privacy extremists, right? Not at all. The real-world applications are surprisingly mainstream, and for a lot of professionals, absolutely essential.
The user base is so diverse. You've got e-commerce sellers managing multiple stores, social media managers handling dozens of client accounts. What started as a really niche tool has become essential business software. Let's look at a couple of quick examples.
So take an e-commerce seller, let's call him Marcus. He might have permission to run 8 different Amazon stores for different products. But without an Antidetect browser, Amazon's algorithm sees 8 stores, all running from one computer, and it's constantly flagging him for security reviews. With this tool, each store looks like a completely independent business. Problem solved. Or think about Sophie, who runs a social media agency. Her team used to waste hours just logging in and out of 40 different client accounts. Sometimes they'd even post to the wrong one by mistake. Ouch. Now, each client has its own permanent profile. Switching is instant, those costly errors are gone, and it boosted their productivity by 40%. But listen, this isn't just a tool for big business. For anyone who just cares about their privacy, it is a game changer. You can create one profile for your work stuff, another for your personal social media, and a third for sensitive research. And this is what stops advertisers from connecting your professional life on LinkedIn with your weekend shopping habits.
Okay, so maybe you're intrigued, but using these tools effectively isn't just about downloading an app and clicking go. To make that disguise really believable, you need to follow a few key rules. The most important thing to remember is consistency. A profile's fingerprint has to make sense, so your browser's time zone and language settings absolutely must match the location of your proxy server. Having a UK IP address with a Pacific time zone, that is an immediate red flag. Oh, and please, whatever you do, avoid free proxies. They're almost always blacklisted and they will do way more harm than good.
Now, a question I get all the time is, hey, isn't this just a fancy VPN? And the answer is a clear no. A VPN only hides one piece of the puzzle, your IP address. An Antidetect browser, on the other hand, masks your entire digital fingerprint. They solve two totally different problems, which is why, for maximum security, the pros always use them together.
And this all leaves us with a pretty profound question. As this technology becomes more and more common, what happens to the whole idea of a stable online identity? If our digital fingerprints are no longer fixed, but they're customizable and disposable, what does it even mean to be you online? It's definitely something to think about.